One of the most difficult things for a narcissist to experience is the slow fading of the story they built about themselves and their place in your life. This isn't just a blow to their ego. It is a major break in who they think they are. Narcissists do not see the world the way most people do. Instead, they live inside a mental act where they are always the star, the main person everyone else should focus on. But this story is very weak. It only stays together if everyone else plays the part given to them. For a long time, you probably followed along. Maybe you didn't realize what was happening, or perhaps you felt you had to, but you took part anyway. You explained yourself over and over, tried to show your good intentions, and worked hard to be heard. You made excuses for their actions, ignored your own needs, or dealt with their moods while hoping they would finally change. Over time, however, something much more vital changed inside you. The narcissist's story relies entirely on control, emotional control, mental control, and even the power to decide what is true or false in the relationship. They change the past whenever it helps them. They make your pain seem small, make their own problems seem huge, and twist facts until they become a tool for power instead of a way to connect. Everything they do has one goal. They want to keep up the lie that they are necessary, better than others, and always in charge. But this lie only lasts if you keep believing it. The second you stop playing along, when you start to see the tricks and stay calm instead of getting angry, the whole setup starts to break. It might not fall apart in a loud way, but the harm is deep because you aren't just leaving. You are taking away your mental support. For someone who needs others to feel worthy, your silence feels like a threat to their very being. From their view, this isn't just you leaving. It feels like a betrayal. Your exit forces them to see something they have worked very hard to hide. The story they told about themselves is not real. That discovery usually happens slowly. It shows up as anger, acting like they don't care, or blaming others again. Under those defenses is a quiet fear that they might have been wrong about themselves the whole time. This connects to a deep truth about how we see ourselves. As humans, we understand our lives through the stories we tell, who we loved, and what we went through. But when those stories are stiff and based on lies rather than truth, even a tiny crack feels like total ruin. When you refuse to play the role they gave you, they are left alone on a stage with no one else there. They might hurry to find someone new, trying to start the same cycle again, but it never works the same way. You weren't just another person. You were someone who saw them clearly. When the person who knew them best leaves, they have to face something worse than being alone. They have to see that the story itself was never true. The void you leave behind is not just a lack of emotion, it is a loss of path. They no longer know who they are without the role they had in your life, because your presence gave their fake self a place to stand. Without you, the emptiness that was always there can no longer be ignored. This is where their big lie finally falls apart, not just because you moved on, but because you did it without needing them to understand or agree. You left with quiet pride instead of anger. By doing that, you didn't just end a relationship, you broke a fantasy. This is why your silence has so much power. It tells a truth their ego cannot fight. In that quiet space, the mask breaks, and they are left looking at the thing they fear most, who they are without you. Staying emotionally distant might sound easy or even mean, but in these situations, it is a very bold move. Stepping back is not a lack of feeling. It is having power over your feelings. It happens when you stop reacting without thinking. When your emotions can no longer be pulled or used against you, the narcissist realizes they can no longer get inside your head. That is when their power truly ends. Narcissists don't just want your time. They want your emotional energy. They want your highs and lows, your temper, your sadness, and your confusion. Every reaction you give them makes them feel like they still matter. Even your pain tells them the bond is still there. As long as you are emotionally caught, they think they can still control what happens. This is why your internal exit is so hard for them to handle. You are no longer easy to upset. You aren't looking for their approval anymore. You stop changing yourself just to keep things peaceful. You start to think before you speak instead of reacting in the heat of the moment. By doing this, you take back your own power, something they never had the right to own. This isn't about being cold. That would just be shutting down, not growing. True distance is clarity. You see the narcissist for who they really are, not the person they pretended to be or the person you hoped they would become. You stop giving them your empathy and start watching them with calm truth. Often, this is when they try one last time to pull you back. They might act nice, say they are sorry, or act like they finally understand. This is rarely real change. It is a way to survive. They are reacting to losing their grip because your distance has changed the balance of power. You aren't playing by their rules anymore. You might see small tests, guilt trips, or emotional pressure. When none of it works, when you show no anger or fear, they are left with nothing. For them, this is scary because it proves their control is gone. This process is about becoming whole on your own. When you step back, you leave the mess of someone else's problems. You stay true to your own values. You take back the right to decide what is real and what you will no longer allow. You stop making them feel important at your own cost. This change doesn't need a fight. It only needs self-respect. Being indifferent is the one thing a narcissist cannot beat. They don't understand it, and they can't change it. This is where your real healing starts. You stop moving because of them and start moving to your own beat. Eventually, they see that the version of you they once ruled is gone. You have grown past the situation completely. Your freedom scares them. It isn't just about living your life. It's about your inner strength. This kind of independence shows what they are missing. Narcissists don't have a solid core. Their worth depends on what others think of them. Without that, their fake self falls over, showing deep worry and confusion. When you become emotionally strong on your own, you stop supporting their fake version of reality. You become proof that their power wasn't real. You might hope they see this and change, but usually it just leads to a collapse inside them because an identity built on hiding cannot be fixed easily. That is no longer your job. You have started a new part of life based on choice rather than reaction. By stopping the belief that they were the center of your world, you made them face the truth they ran from. They were never your source of strength. You always were. Taking back your energy and building a life based on self-trust is your big win. The moment you don't need them to tell you that you are worthy is the moment they have to face their own emptiness, and that is something they can no longer run away from. When they stop getting a rise out of you, they fall into a deep panic. To understand this, you must realize that your feelings are what fed their fake self. Your anger and your need to explain were their fuel. When those go away, the narcissist starts to starve inside. For years, they trained you to react. They pushed buttons and relied on your feelings being predictable. When that system stops, their world shakes. They don't see your silence as healing. They see it as a threat. To them, your calm is dangerous. This is why the time right after you pull away is often the most chaotic. They switch roles fast, acting like a victim one minute and an attacker the next. They look for any version of themselves that will get a reaction from you. Each role is a test to see if they can pull you back in. This frantic act comes from a truth they hate. If they can't control how you feel, they lose control over who they are. A narcissist only feels big when someone else feels small. When you stay steady, you no longer make them feel powerful. The mirror you once held up goes dark. They look at you and find no proof that they are better. In that space, they feel how weak they truly are. To fix that feeling, they often try harder. This is when they might tell lies or use other people to get to you. They look for any sign that you still care. They think pain means you are still connected. What they don't get is that your distance isn't a game. It is a real departure. Your heart is no longer where they can reach it. A huge shift happens when you stop waiting for them to say they are sorry. For a long time, your healing might have depended on the hope that they would understand. You thought that if you were patient enough, they would finally get it. Letting go means knowing that day will never come and realizing you don't need it. Your truth doesn't need their okay to be real. When you believe this, their words lose their sting. Their mean comments sound empty. You see their actions as a pattern of their own brokenness, not a reflection of you. This makes you strong. Their tricks don't work because you trust what you see. You are no longer a part of their story. You are watching it from the outside. This shift is what finally pushes them away. They can't work if they can't get to your emotions. As you move forward, the space once filled by chaos starts to clear. A new kind of quiet arrives. This silence isn't heavy or scary. It is open and peaceful. It lets you hear your own voice again. You start to find the parts of yourself you hid to keep the peace. Your hobbies come back. Your opinions feel safe. You remember what it's like to be around people who don't ask you to be less than you are. The narcissist might stay in the background, waiting for you to be weak, but your steady path protects you. You stay rooted in your truth every day. Their hold on you fades. The best part of being independent is that their tricks stop working. You aren't looking for safety in someone else. You become your own anchor. You learn how to stay steady on your own. To someone who lives off others, that strength is overwhelming. When you stop looking for fairness from someone who can't give it, you change for good. You may have thought logic would lead to them taking blame. You hoped they would see the harm they did. But the turning point is seeing that their refusal to understand is on purpose. It is not a mistake. It is a shield. Admitting they hurt you would break the fake image they have of themselves. That image matters more to them than your feelings. So they choose to deny it every time. Once you accept this, you stop waiting for them and start living. You take back the right to tell your own story. This needs deep acceptance. You stop expecting a person to act grown up when they aren't. You see that while you wanted honesty, they wanted control. This hurts, but it also sets you free. When you stop expecting a mess to act like it's healthy, their behavior becomes easy to predict. Their insults look like a script. You see the patterns instead of just feeling the pain. By watching with distance, you step out of the prison they built. Slowly, your energy comes back. In the past, you spent so much time worrying about their moods or fixing their problems. Now that energy is yours. At first, the calm might feel odd. It might even feel empty. That is just your body getting used to a life without stress. What you are feeling is peace. In this space, you can explore who you are without being a target. You can look at your old wounds not to blame yourself, but to stay safe in the future. This keeps you from repeating the past. The narcissist might react to your peace with more anger. They hate that you are happy without them. They might try to ruin your calm. But because you are solid now, these tricks fail. You aren't looking for them to grow. You are looking at your own health. Your life is no longer about reacting to them. It is about your own choices. Choosing yourself ends the harm and starts the rebuilding. You are not defined by what they broke. You are defined by what you chose to fix. Moving from just surviving to really growing means looking inward. When the noise stops, the silence can feel new. For a long time, you were just a response to them. Now you have to define yourself. This part is about taking back your mind. It starts by knowing that the mean voice in your head isn't yours. It was put there by them. Healing means taking that voice apart. Every thought that says you aren't enough must be challenged. Every belief that says you are responsible for them must be replaced with the truth. As you heal, your view of time changes. In a bad relationship, everything is a crisis. You live for the moment, waiting for the next fight. Now you can look ahead. You can plan a future. That can be scary because your trust in yourself was hurt. Building that trust happens through small steps. You make promises to yourself and you keep them. You set rules for how you want to be treated. You start listening to your gut again. That quiet inner voice becomes your guide. Every time you listen to it, you fix a link they tried to snap. You are coming back to yourself for good. As you continue to move away from the influence of a narcissist, you begin to realize that their greatest fear was never losing you, but losing the power to define who you are. For a long time, they acted like a mirror that only showed you a broken version of yourself. When you finally stop looking into that mirror, you start to see your own reflection for the first time in years. This phase of the journey is about more than just leaving. It is about reclaiming the parts of your personality that you had to hide just to survive. You might find that you have forgotten what you actually like, what your hobbies are, or how it feels to make a decision without feeling a sense of dread. Rebuilding your life in this quiet space is a slow process of discovery. You are no longer living in a state of emergency, which means your brain can finally start to process the lessons of the past. You begin to understand that the narcissist's behavior was never about your worth, but about their own inability to feel complete. This shift in perspective changes how you view the world around you. You start to notice that healthy relationships do not require the constant explaining or the heavy emotional labor you grew used to. You find that you can have a disagreement with someone without it turning into a war. This new reality can feel strange, almost like you are walking on solid ground after being at sea for a long time. The narcissist may still try to reach out or send messages through other people, hoping to find a crack in your new foundation. However, because you have replaced your old triggers with a firm sense of self, those attempts start to look small and even a bit sad. You no longer feel the need to win an argument with them because you realize that the only way to win is to stop playing the game entirely. Your life becomes focused on your own goals and your own peace of mind. The final stage of this transformation is when you stop being a survivor and start being the creator of your own future. The energy you used to spend managing their chaos is now yours to invest in your own dreams. You begin to trust your own eyes and your own heart again. You realize that the strength you used to keep the relationship going was actually your own strength all along, and now you are finally using it for yourself. The emptiness the narcissist tried to fill with drama is now filled with genuine self-respect and a quiet confidence that does not need anyone else's approval. You have not only moved on from a person, but you have also moved on from the version of yourself that believed you were not enough. You are now standing in your own truth, and that is a place where a narcissist can never follow. As you grow stronger, you will notice that your focus moves away from the narcissist's actions and toward your own healing. This is a very important shift. For a long time, your mind was like a house where the narcissist lived for free, taking up all your thoughts and energy. Now you are finally changing the locks. You stop asking why they did what they did because you realize the answer doesn't change your future. The why is simply their own brokenness, and that is not your burden to carry or fix. Instead, you start asking what you need to feel safe and happy. You begin to value your own time and peace more than the need to be right. This is not just moving on, it is a total change in how you value yourself. You may also start to see the people around you in a new light. You might notice who stood by you and who made excuses for the narcissist's behavior. This can be painful, but it is also a necessary cleaning of your life. You are no longer willing to accept middle ground friends who ask you to keep the peace at the expense of your own safety. You start to surround yourself with people who offer consistency instead of chaos. These new connections are built on mutual respect rather than power. In these healthy friendships, you don't have to watch every word you say or worry about being punished for having a different opinion. You are learning that real love and friendship are supposed to be a safe harbor, not a stormy sea. Eventually, The memory of the narcissist begins to fade from a sharp pain into a dull lesson. You no longer wake up wondering what they are thinking or if they have changed. You stop checking their social media or asking about them because you are too busy living a life that actually belongs to you. This is the ultimate form of freedom. You have reached a point where their presence or absence makes no difference to your sense of self. You are no longer the person they hurt. You are the person who survived, learned, and grew into something much more solid. You have turned your trauma into wisdom, and that wisdom is a shield that will protect you for the rest of your life. You have reclaimed your story, and this time you are the only one holding the pen. This new sense of safety allows you to look at the idea of forgiveness in a different way. You realize that forgiving does not mean saying what they did was okay, and it certainly does not mean letting them back into your life. Instead, it means letting go of the heavy hope that the past could have been different. You stop waiting for a change that will never happen, and you stop holding on to the anger that keeps you tied to them. This kind of letting go is a gift you give to yourself. It clears out the last bit of their influence from your heart. You are finally putting down the weight you have been carrying for so long, and as you do, you feel lighter and more capable of moving toward the things that truly bring you joy. As you step further into this freedom, you start to rebuild your trust in the world around you. This process begins with trusting yourself first. You acknowledge that while you were misled, you also learned how to survive under incredible pressure. That survival skill is now a part of your strength. You learn to listen to the small warnings in your gut and the quiet feelings of discomfort that you used to ignore. Because you are no longer desperate for someone else to tell you that you are good enough, you can see people for who they really are right from the start. You are no longer looking for a hero or a savior, which means you are no longer an easy target for someone looking to play a role. You are simply looking for honesty and kindness. In time, you will look back on this period and realize it was the birth of a much more authentic version of you. The narcissist tried to erase you, but they actually forced you to find a foundation that cannot be shaken. You have learned that your worth is not something that can be given or taken away by another person. It is something you carry within you. Your life is no longer a reaction to someone else's drama. It is a series of choices made by you, for you. The silence that once felt lonely now feels like a sacred space where you are free to grow. You have finally closed the door on the fantasy, and in its place, you have built a real, beautiful, and lasting life. Finding your true purpose after such a long struggle starts with the simple act of listening to your own heart. For a long time, your energy was used up by someone else's demands, leaving you with very little space to think about what you actually wanted. Now that the noise has stopped, you might feel a bit lost, but this is actually a blank page. You get to decide what your life stands for. You might find that you are drawn to helping others who are going through similar struggles, or you might find joy in creative things you haven't done since you were a child. Your purpose is no longer about keeping someone else happy. It is about finding what makes you feel alive and useful. This journey also teaches you the beauty of a quiet life. You no longer need the constant drama or the intense highs and lows to feel like things are moving forward. You begin to appreciate the small wins, like a peaceful morning, a good conversation, or a day where you didn't think about the past at all. This stability is the soil where your new life grows. You learn that being a good person does not mean letting people walk over you. It means having enough self-respect to say no to things that drain you. You realize that your kindness is a valuable resource, and you start to spend it only on people and projects that deserve it. Ultimately, the most powerful part of this change is the realization that you are the hero of your own story. The narcissist tried to make you a side character in their play, but you walked off the stage and built your own world. You have survived the worst of the emotional storm, and you have come out on the other side with a clearer mind and a stronger spirit. You are no longer waiting for someone else to save you or validate you. You have become the person you always needed. As you walk forward into this new chapter, you do so with your head held high, knowing that the strength you found in the darkness will light your way for all the years to come. When you reach this point, you start to notice that your fear of the narcissist returning begins to change. In the beginning, the thought of them reaching out might have made your heart race or caused you to panic. But as you stay in your peace, that fear turns into a simple realization that they no longer have any tools to use against you. You see that they are like a magician whose tricks have been revealed. Once you know how the trick is done, it can never fool you again. If they try to come back with a new story or a sad excuse, you look at it with a sense of calm observation rather than emotional pain. You realize that their return wouldn't be about missing you, but about their own need to find a source of energy. Knowing this makes it much easier to keep your door closed. Building a new social circle becomes your next big step. You start to look for people who are emotionally safe. These are people who respect your boundaries without you having to fight for them. You find that you are no longer drawn to high-energy, fast-moving relationships that feel like a roller coaster. Instead, you look for consistency, honesty, and a sense of calm. You might find yourself being more careful about who you let into your inner life, and that is a healthy thing. You are protecting the peace you worked so hard to find. You learn that it is better to have a few true friends who see and respect the real you than a crowd of people who only like the version of you that serves them. This final stage of healing is about living your life so well that the past feels like a different lifetime. You are no longer looking over your shoulder. You are looking at the horizon. The lessons you learned have made you wiser, but they haven't made you hard or bitter. You still have your empathy and your kindness, but now they are protected by a strong sense of self-worth. You have survived the collapse of a false reality and built a life rooted in what is true. You are finally free to be yourself, and that is the most powerful place anyone can be. You are whole, you are safe, and you are finally in control of your own destiny. Learning to trust your own judgment again is one of the final and most rewarding steps of this process. After being told for so long that your feelings were wrong or that you were remembering things incorrectly, it takes time to believe in your own mind again. This starts with small choices. You begin to notice that when something feels off about a person or a situation, you are usually right. Instead of looking for someone else to tell you how to feel, you start to rely on that inner nudge. You realize that your intuition is not just a random feeling, but a very fast way your brain processes years of experience and patterns. By listening to it, you are finally acting as your own protector. As you meet new people, you no longer feel the need to rush. You understand that trust is something earned slowly over time through consistent actions, not just through big promises or charming words. You watch how people treat others when they think no other person is looking. You notice if their words match what they actually do. Because you are no longer afraid of being alone, you have the power to walk away at the first sign of a red flag. This ability to leave is your greatest strength. It means you are no longer a person who can be trapped by a fantasy. You are a person who values reality and safety above everything else. In this new chapter, you find that you are much more comfortable with your own company. The silence that used to feel like a void now feels like a place where you can recharge. This inner peace acts as a filter for the world. Anyone who wants to be a part of your life must add to that peace, not take it away. You have reached a state where you are your own best friend and your own most trusted advisor. The story that the narcissist tried to write for you has been completely erased, and you have filled those pages with your own voice. You are living proof that healing is possible, and that the light of truth can truly melt away even the darkest of illusions. You are finally home within yourself.